Hey, also, are you in a space today where you're feeling the rage that happens when you start to heal? So, a lot of times people don't talk about the excessive anger that you may feel when you're starting to heal from a situation. Like for me, I know that whenever I was out of that situation and moving into a new situation, there was anger at myself for ever putting myself in that situation. There was shame inside that anger because of the same reason. But then there was also anger at the person for treating me the way that he did, but also knowing that had he presented himself as who he was whenever the relationship started, that I probably would not have jumped into that relationship. So there was anger with his um, disguise. There was anger with his deception, and just an overall feeling of frustration that there are other people in the world who I know are not necessarily being good to their partners, but yet they get to have this thing that I can't have, and I'm experiencing abuse at the hands of this person. And so there's all of this frustration when you start to heal that turns into anger. And I'm just here to tell you today that you should not feel shame because you have an anger inside of that space. There is space for all emotions. It is okay to feel your emotions, and you shouldn't shame yourself for feeling frustration and anger inside of your healing. In fact, it's a very healthy thing to feel anger toward that thing because that's when you know that you're actually healing. That's when you know you're not going to repeat that same pattern over and over again because you have a big emotion inside of it that's telling you, this is not where I want to be again. And oftentimes, those big emotions like pain and anger and frustration will be the reason why you don't repeat the thing again. So, allowing the feeling is the first thing that we have to do. So, instead of saying, oh, yeah, I'm fine, or no, it wasn't that big of a deal, or all the things that we tell the outside world because we don't want people to pity us or look down on us or even, feel the things that we're feeling toward ourselves toward us, we need to start just saying, I'm angry. Like, I am frustrated and I'm pissed off and I'm annoyed that all of these things have happened again. Because once you allow the feeling, then the feeling can flow through you and it will start your healing journey. But if you suppress that feeling or act like it doesn't exist, it will exist inside of you for longer because it wants to be seen, heard, and validated. And if you keep suppressing it, you keep pushing it down, it just bubbles up inside of you and starts to get larger and larger and larger. So feel that feeling. Allow yourself to be annoyed. Allow yourself to be frustrated. If you need to go to the mountaintop of your favorite hike and just scream at the top of your lungs, do it because you're allowing that emotion of frustration to flow through you. And let's be honest, it is very normal and healthy to feel a feeling of anger when you realize how much you actually went through and for how long you endured that thing. Because sometimes when you're in it, you're just trying to get through it. So you're like, all right, I just got to get past this next thing. Okay, and then something else happens. I just got to get past this next thing. I just got to get to the other side of this thing. And when you're in it, you don't realize that thing after thing after thing continue to happen until you're years into that thing, realizing that there were so many points along that road that were pain points and that you've endured those pain points for so long and there were only some good points sprinkled in there. And when you realize the level of abuse, the level of toxicity, the level of negativity of the thing that you've endured and how long you've endured it, it is okay to be angry that that person put you through that thing for that long, knowing what they were doing, but also that you allowed yourself to experience it for that long. Anger is going to come with that. If you realize that your job was not paying you for months on end and you look in your bank account and you notice that they haven't been paying you, you're only going to let that thing happen for so many times before you get angry and say something. And the same thing is true when you're in a situation that's giving you a withdrawal from your emotional account every single day. When you see that that account is in the negative every single day, when you look back on the amount of time that you endured that withdrawal from your emotional account, you're going to feel frustrated and angry because you were expecting something out of that relationship and something was being taken from you the whole time. And this is not me saying that it's okay to victimize yourself, because that's never okay. What is okay is to sit with reality and be okay with the fact that you can be angry inside of that space because of what happened. It's also a very normal human experience to feel disgust towards someone who misled you, and to feel disgust toward yourself for believing the lies that they told you. You know, I had a person that I was dating show up to the first date with scripture in hand to read to me. Like, first date, had the scripture, told me all the things. And in the relationship, I realized that there was no actual belief in God. There was no living for God. That was just a farce to get me to be emotionally attached to this person. And then later, once I realized that that was not real, to already be connected to them and attached to them so that I wouldn't want to leave. And that was intentional. It was purposeful. It's purposeful for somebody to walk into your life and show up with all the charm in the world, and then to very clearly and slowly whittle away at your self-esteem while also retracting that charm, so that you are expecting nothing from them from breadcrumbs, and you're also experiencing extreme insecurity, so you don't even think you deserve the breadcrumbs that they're giving you. That is intentional. And when you realize that someone has done that to you, it is a very normal human experience to feel disgust toward that person. And that's the anger that comes with healing. If someone hurt you in your childhood, or they didn't treat you the way that you know that person, whatever title they have in your life, should have been treating you, you are going to feel disgust toward them. And that is a normal human experience. But you're also going to feel disgust toward yourself, even if you were too young to have done anything about it. You have to allow those feelings. Don't sit in them forever. Don't shame yourself. Don't wreck your self-esteem with them. But sit with them and wonder and get curious about why those emotions are coming up for you. And something else to notice when you're inside of your healing journey and you're feeling that feeling of anger is that healing ebbs and flows. Some days you're going to feel healed and on top of the world, and other days you don't. There's a gradually and a suddenly when it comes to healing. Gradually, you're doing all these things, and then suddenly you feel healed. And then gradually things start to happen, and then suddenly you feel like you're back in the same spot that you were before. And that's not to tell you that it's just a hopeless journey, because it's not. Because for all the days that I felt healed, I would give my right arm to experience those things, even if it took the unhealed days to get there. But there's an anger that exists inside of that ebbing and flowing, because you feel like you've done so much to get to so far, but yet you keep falling back into those same old habits. And eventually, you won't fall back so far down the hole. You might fall in the hole, but it won't be so deep as you have been before, because you'll start to do the things to heal. And once you heal the first thing, you're going to uncover another thing that needs to be healed. And once you heal that thing, then you might uncover another thing that needs to be healed. But what will happen is, even though you're not fully healed, you will develop the strength to endure the healing process. And so then you'll start to get curious about uncovering all the pieces of you that need to be reparented, all the pieces of you that need gentle and a hug and reassurance and validation. And you'll start to uncover that the amount of time that you're spending on covering up the oozing wound is going to be far more than the amount of time that it actually takes to heal it. And so today, my hope for you is that if you're in a place of healing and you're feeling anger, that you give yourself some grace, that that is a human emotion, and you allow yourself to go through the ebbs and the flows of healing, knowing that even if there's ebbs and flows, that you're still along the journey and you're still doing great work, and you're still getting yourself to the other side of this thing. So I hope that this message finds you well. And if it doesn't, if you're in an ebb or a flow of your healing journey, I hope that this is able to break you free from some of the bondage that you're experiencing. Please go like and subscribe to my pages. And if this message resonated with you, remember that knowledge gained and kept to yourself is selfish. But if you share this with other people in the world, it may just be the thing that they need to break free from the bondage that they're experiencing. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you again next time.